Shayla Cully is a senior UX designer currently working on a master's degree in human-computer interaction with a focus on accessible design solutions. At Ventera, Shayla works as the UX team lead to support human-centered design goals for CCSQ's Enterprise Systems and Services, or ESS. Mana Hayashi is a senior UX researcher with over 10 years of experience in mixed methods research, education, and science writing. At Ventera, she conducts research on a cross-functional product team to improve user experiences of CCSQ's Enterprise Systems and Services, again ESS, including Program Resource System known as PRS 2.0, and Robotic Process Automation, or RPA. Where's my cursor here? Hiram Park is a senior UX researcher with over 10 years of experience working with government and IT companies. Currently, Hiram is senior researcher at Ventera, where she conducts quantitative and qualitative research on how user experiences can be improved based on research findings and recommendations, with a focus on HARP and MFT File Cloud and CCSQ's ESS. Welcome, Shayla, Mana, and Hiram. Turn it over to you.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you guys so much for taking the time to join Mana, Hiram, and I today. So, quick question for everybody. What does it mean to be continually engaged? For users, it means we are regularly in contact with them, asking follow-up questions and collecting their feedback. And to do so, the whole project team has to be continually engaged with one another. So let's look at how UX practices engage users and why it's important to continually engage with them as part of the human-centered research and design process. And before we jump into our topic, we wanted to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So as Brian mentioned, my name is Shayla Cully. I'm a senior UX designer at Ventera and the ESS UX team lead. And in today's presentation, I'll be showcasing how we work together as a team to continually engage our users in the creation of human-centered products for the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Good afternoon. My name is Mana Hayashi Tang, and as mentioned earlier, I'm a senior UX researcher on the ESS team. I will be introducing examples of how we engage users in the development of one of our early stage products called PRS 2.0, which is used by CMS contractors to review the healthcare quality that Medicare and Medicaid patients are receiving from their doctors and healthcare facilities.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hyun Park. I'm also senior UX researcher on the ESS team. I'll be introducing examples of how we engage users in one of our mature late-stage products called HARP, which is a secure identity management portal to get access and use several CCSQ coordinate applications.
So our team centers user participation in our product development process because our users are ultimately the people who will be using and experiencing our products. And we follow and highly recommend 3 sets of best practices when conducting human-centered research and design. So let's take a look at what it takes to build a foundation for continual user engagement. So first we have to collaborate cross-functionally, and this is because the best solutions for our users are often found when experts from different backgrounds and perspectives are involved in user engagement. And all members in the product team are involved in continually engaging with each other and the users. Then we can continually engage our users. This is because we're centering user voices in every decision-making process of our product, whether it's at the early stages in order to validate a design concept or after a product is mature and can benefit from further enhancements. Lastly, while working iteratively, it's important to continually engage users so that we think holistically about their experience. Human-centered research and design should keep the big picture in mind because our users experience products holistically. These 3 best practices help us center user experience in our team's product development process. But how do you incorporate these best practices into your product team's workflow? And how does continual engagement actually bring value to our users? So that's actually what we hope to share with you all here today. For the first part of our presentation, we're going to discuss how the ESS UX team is a shared service across multiple product verticals, and how, as a shared service, we collaborate with our project teams to regularly engage our users for their feedback. So a little bit about us. We are part of the Enterprise Systems and Services team, also known as ESS, for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, typically referred to as CMS. ESS maintains applications and services that support healthcare quality improvement initiatives, and ESS is comprised of 4 product teams. Our UX team is part of the larger shared resources. And as a shared resource service, we work to support all of the project teams and their users within ESS. We approach our human-centered design practice as a means of facilitating communication between the end users and our internal project teams. And in our experience, working cross-functionally has been really helpful on ESS to improve collaboration between design and development. Here is a high-level view of our cross-functional workflow. This process starts with identifying a user's need, and this could be through a stakeholder request directly from our research or from direct conversations with our users. We then conduct research with our end users and the project team, which includes leadership, UX, and development. And after the initial research phase, UX works on making updates to any designs based on our users' feedback. Research then retests the improved designs with our end users again, and including the larger project team. Once our design meets user expectations, UX works with development to implement the final design. And at this point, given the iterative nature of the agile approach, the work process starts all over again. So let's take a closer look at the second stage of this workflow, which is user experience research with project and UX team support.
So continual engagement of users begins with setting up a solid cross-functional practice. In the research stage, when a researcher conducts a study with users, for example, a user interview, we can see how this cross-functional collaboration plays out to engage users throughout the product development work process that Shayla has just introduced to us. We usually have a researcher assigned to take lead for each product, and that person will facilitate a one-on-one conversation with the user so that the user can have an in-depth and focused conversation with the lead researcher. Now, the other researcher and the UX designers on the team will assist by peer reviewing the interview script before the interview, and then taking notes and helping out when there are technical issues during the interview. We also invite our product team members, leadership, and stakeholders to our interviews as observers. Now, these observers can be developers, data team members, for instance, who are sitting in to take their own notes. After the interview, observers can ask follow-up questions to the user. They will also stay behind to debrief with the UX team members. This setup helps us think ahead and discuss what development needs at the research stage with the users. Now let's take a look at how this interview structure specifically worked for one of our products, PRS 2.0. The primary reason for users to use PRS 2.0 is to search for information on Medicare or Medicaid doctors, like their credentials and history of providing care. During one of our interviews, we showed the users this high fidelity design wireframe with information on a hypothetical doctor. Now in this wireframe, the user noticed that under group practice, it says group, but not the name of the group. So we discovered that the users do like knowing a doctor is a part of a group, but also wishes to easily identify a doctor's group practice affiliation on this page. And since we had data team members attending the interview session as an observer, they were able to directly ask the users data type related follow-up questions to this use case. What information do you need to see here? They asked. And together with the users and the designers, we were all able to come up with the best solution for the user. Now, users will be able to see a doctor's group affiliation, active and previous group membership, their time frame of membership, and they will also have a way to click into a group and see its further details. Here are some benefits of working cross-functionally when conducting UX research like this, including users can directly speak of their needs and concerns to the product team because of the UX team's facilitation. These research settings also facilitate the product team members' empathy for users. Empathy can develop more naturally when product team members can hear directly from the users. Debriefs directly after an interview between the researchers, designers, and other product team members are also very important. They make sure that all the ideas are shared with each other while fresh on everyone's mind. And it also nurtures team cohesion over our product goals, always continually centering them on user needs. By having all product team members engage in user research from the beginning, they are introduced to the users and can take what they learned from the users into the rest of the work process, laying the groundwork for continual user participation.
Collaborations to continually engage users can also extend beyond the internal team. Communicating and collaborating with other teams who provide support to our products help prioritize user needs over the scope of individual teams. For my project, HARP, we worked with the help desk team because they support HARP users when HARP users reach out to the help desk to get help. They know the most common use cases why HARP users reach out to the help desk. The help desk team shared when HARP users contact help desk. Here are examples for why HARP users contact the help desk. They failed to log in, they forgot their password, and have issues when doing manual identity proofing during registration. Based on these findings, we conducted UX research to solve these problems. Here is what we provide to deal with common use cases when users need help. We decide to update the contact help desk page to allow users to find their use case that they need help, and also provide self-recovery features to help them try to solve their problems by themselves before reaching out to the help desk. Here's the previous page before we updated. It shows various contact information based on what application users use, but the only thing users could do here was find the relevant contact information and reach out to the help desk. There were no other additional resources beyond this. Here is the updated contact help desk page. As you can see, it provides like the drop-down options to easily find the use cases that the users have to seek for help. Also, it provides links for how to do self-recovery before reaching out to the help desk based on selected use case. With this new update, it shows contact information to reach out to the different help desk as well, based on their use case and application that they use. Some benefits of like collaborating beyond the product team when conducting user research continually. By working with other teams who support or interact with product users, product team can discover user pain points in real time. Continual user engagement helps the product team save time and effort to conduct research to figure out user pain points. The product team can have better understanding of where and how many users encounter issues and problems to complete their task when using product. Collaboration with other teams can reduce workload for everyone. Users can solve issues without contacting multiple teams. For this HARP example, users can now solve their issues on their end with provided resources in the product without reaching out to the help desk. Product team can understand the pain points like sooner and the scale of issues that are proven and known by others. Also, it can reduce workload for other teams who support the product users, because users can solve their issues on their end before reaching out to the other teams.
Now that we have looked at how cross-functional collaborations in UX practices can continually engage users, let's discuss the importance of maintaining user lists for future research efforts and how continual engagement allows for nurturing relationships with our end users to encourage their continual participation. So we work on building relationships with our participants who often volunteer for our studies during early product development. These participants are people that we can keep in touch with throughout our work process to validate our ideas, as well as ask any follow-up questions between research studies. We maintain a separate user list for each of our products and different user groups, and this helps us know who to contact depending on our research goals. Here's an example of a user list. Each column represents a different study, and each row shows whether a user received a study invite and which studies they participated in. We can track which of our users are continually participating in our studies and what topics attract their attention. As your product matures, your user list may grow significantly. In our case, PRS 2.0 is an early stage product with 700 users, while HARP is a mature product that has over 2,000 users. We tend to send out surveys to specific user lists in order to receive large-scale feedback. We then seek out specific proactive users from the survey participants and previously identified frequent participants in order to conduct our interviews. It is important to nurture relationships with your users in order to encourage their regular participation.
Now let's look at how we can achieve continual user participation from an early stage product to a late stage product. Let me start with an early stage one. When trying to identify the core needs and associated pain points of PRS 2.0 users, our team was initially unsure who would search for doctors and healthcare facilities on the product, which is based on a legacy government product for the same purpose. Having a curated user list helped us identify that the majority of our users are patient-facing. These are users who educate patients and advocate for patients and their families when the patient files a quality review case against a doctor or facility that the patient saw and was seen in. Because we figured out this primary usage scenario by regularly communicating with our user groups, we learned that the information users have to start a search on PRS 2.0 tend to be from patients. For example, this user is happy to be able to search for a healthcare facility by their address because it is one of the information that patients would provide them aside from the doctor's name and their facility name. This functionality addresses one of their pain points on the legacy version of PRS, that healthcare facilities often change their name, making it difficult to match information from the patient with information in PRS. Users validate the usefulness of a functionality we added for their core needs, making their workflow easier on our updated product, PRS 2.0. Some of the benefits of continual user participation in research, starting from early stage of a product, include nurturing the user's status as knowledge holders and collaborators early in the product development process, so that users can see the impact of their involvement every step of the way as a product becomes successful in fulfilling their core needs. And it helps establish that the user's continual investment in research and development is ultimately an investment in their community of users. Here's a user expressing this feeling of inclusion that helps build trust in our work process of continually engaging them to make PRS a better product for everyone. Building this confidence is particularly important in a UX sector like ours, where users have to rely on particular government products to support patients and healthcare workers. The user's continual involvement is crucial for us to provide a high-value product to them in a timely manner.
Next, I'm going to talk about how continually engaging users into a mature late-stage product can be beneficial. At this stage, we can explore new enhancements beyond the core functionalities to provide more values to users when they use product. When launching the minimum viable product of HARP, there was no landing page. So UX team decided to provide dashboard-style landing page after login to guide what users can do in HARP. After coming out with this new concept, we conducted user testing to validate its working as we designed it. Let's look at the result of how we improved the landing page by validating with the users. Before we provide the new dashboard-style landing page, there was no landing page. After login, users had to get on this profile page and they need to go to somewhere else depending on what they wanted to do. It's a new dashboard-style landing page we provide after validation with the users. By landing on this page after login, users can know what they can do in HARP intuitively with this tiled layout shortcut. During the user testing, participants also mentioned same valuable points of why we wanted to provide the landing page. Here are benefits of validating new features with the users continually in a mature product. With these new features, users still complete their core needs and they can enjoy new enhancements that improve their workflow and understanding of product. Also, validation with the users before implementation prevents wasting time and resources on reworking the product after it's not successfully working after implementation. Without the research to validate with the users, we don't have any chance to know if it's working as you designed it and expected when new features are provided to users in real world.
We're now going to discuss ways our team works continually with users to holistically improve products and services.
Thank you. In the previous section, we looked at how continual engagement of users can benefit their experiences with early stage products and mature late stage products. Now let's look at how continual user participation can impact user experiences as a whole. When we're working through iterations of a product, we're often focused on particular features or a portion of a product. But receiving feedback from users helps us keep their full holistic product experience in mind. For instance, at the beginning of a user interview, we can ask users open-ended questions to seek for spontaneous feedback, like, what are some questions that you have for us before we get started? What's important about asking this question at the beginning of a study is that users tend to be honest and provide their first thoughts and underlying feelings about the full product. Especially when you create a conversational atmosphere, users are more likely to share with you a pain point that they have most recently encountered or a deeply seated concern that they have for the whole product. This honest feedback is especially important for an agile product team like ours and the leadership to hear, so that we as a team are not solely bound by the work iterations we determine for ourselves in our silos, but instead users get to tell us and help us determine what is important for them and when they experience the product holistically and help us adapt to their needs. When providing a product or service to users, it is very important to have an open mind and incorporate multiple opportunities for users to correct your assumptions and biases so that you can identify gaps in your research scope. With an experienced user, someone who has been using your product for a while, it is useful to ask open-ended questions at the end of a survey, user interview, or user test to hear more about their ideas and thoughts so far on the product. Now, this could be as simple as asking, do you have any other comments or suggestions for how we can improve the product? By asking this question at the end of a research study, we free ourselves from our research scopes. What are we, the product team, overlooking? And what do you, the user, wish we could provide instead? We also can uncover user needs and expectations that go beyond their core needs. Maybe a nice to have feature that they've liked in other products. All of these additional findings and insights should be shared with the team, all the team members, in research readouts, presentations, meetings, to make sure that everyone is keeping these user ideas and holistic experiences in mind.
When you have additional findings beyond your current research scope, it is helpful to archive and highlight them to make sure all team members know. To archive all additional findings and insights, create a repository where you can keep track of them whenever you need to take a look. Store all findings and insights with user codes so that they can be seed ideas for future research when you make a plan to provide better user experience for the product. This practice makes sure the user's previous participation in research continue to impact your future research. In order to have users participate in UX research, ongoing efforts are required. Provide an online survey link in the product to ask them to complete the survey to gather their feedback on their product usage. When embedding the survey in the product, survey design is really important to gather large-scale feedback from product users, because it asks users voluntary participation, so it might be easily assumed that users can abandon anytime they want to quit. Consider to provide a sign-up link for users to participate in future UX research. recruitment is always challenging. So if you have a place where users can sign up for future UX research, it would be beneficial to find more users continuously. Here's how HARP provides links for online survey and sign up for future UX research. As you can see, contact us to sign up link allow users to sign up for future UX research. And also give us feedback link provides online survey to users to get their feedback. As a result, HARP users can participate in the research at any time when they are using the product.
So in our talk today, we went over a lot of information on how we have users participate continually in user research and design. So what can continual engagement look like for you, and how can you start engaging your users today? Let's do a recap of our best practices and then take a look at a checklist that we've created to help you apply them to your products and workflows. So the first thing is product team works regularly with the UX team to communicate with the end users. 2 is to consistently manage user lists to recruit and build trust with their users. And 3, working in iterations, but keep in mind the user's entire journey with our products.
Here are some pro tips. If you are a HCD, human-centered design expert, struggling to get product team members to join your UX activities, share with your product team members our examples for how data and development team members, how stakeholders like clients can learn from users. Involve them so that you can save time in your overall work process together.
Continuously communicate and collaborate with other teams who support your product users as well. By working together, we can make better circumstance or user experience for users beyond our own product scopes.
Next, encourage your users to experiment with your early iteration products and to give you feedback. Make them feel comfortable by letting them know that they're not being tested. We are together testing a product. We're collaborating with them. And when you gather these user feedback and implement them into your product, demonstrate how their participation impacts the product. Show users that their input matters, and show stakeholders that continual research with users matters.
After launching your product, observe how your users interact with your product with detailed eyes to discover any problematic areas in workflows or what can be improved to deliver better user experience. If you find any problematic areas, come up with new ideas, concepts, or features to solve and validate them with the users before implementation. Always include your users.
As researchers, we care about the scope of our research to prevent issues with scope creep. However, it is still important to always make time to ask users open-ended questions that capture their holistic experiences. A user's knowledge from having practical experiences with a product can help catch possible researcher biases and remind us of the big picture. Incorporate opportunities for users to correct you.
Create a dedicated findings repository to keep track of research findings and store them with searchable keywords in order to search them whenever you need. You can give directions for future UX research. Think of what can be embedded into your product to get user feedback and to recruit participants. Online survey and sign-up link for future research can be good examples. Users are already there to use your product, so try to recruit users from where they are. Keep places open for user participation in your product.
Now, if you are someone who is involved in creating a product, Whether you are a user experience expert, a product team member, or stakeholder, we hope this checklist of pro tips will help you incorporate continual user participation into creating your products starting today.
Also, if you are a user of CCSQ and CMS product, please know that we already welcome your feedback and participation. Please feel free to reach out to us or stay behind after this talk for one-on-one conversation on our products, our work process, and anything else related to user experience that piques your interest. We would love to speak with you.
So thank you everyone so much for joining us for our talk today, and the team and I will now take any questions you might have.